Hi guys, and welcome to Danish Palms. My name is Martin. I'm an artist from Denmark that create art. Today I was on the job listening to radio because that's what you do when you work. I got a really cool idea. Can you imagine this theme that Donald Trump comes into a music school? What's up with his surname Trump? Because Donald Trump wants to learn to play the trumpet. Donald Trump, as musician, that I have been trying to play the trumpet for a long time. And the teacher is none other than Pingu. His mouth goes. So can you imagine making that theme in clay? That's what I want to go with. And that's what the program is about today. So the first thing I'm going to do to start my projects, it is to use a bamboo skewer. Mixed around on the top of it with aluminum wire. And after the aluminum wire, I put on some alufoil. After that, I put in 2 types of clays. The reason was being that I have some leftovers of the Super Sculpting original. The other gray clay that you see here is the cuss clay. So I decided to mix those so I could get rid of the Super Sculpting original, the little leftover that I had. Two balls, 1 ear at the left side. And between a lot of the details, I'm using oil to smoothing out the clay. So it's finished, fresh baked, right out of the oven. It has been standing on my table for 20-30 minutes and now it's been cooled down. Now I'm ready to move on and start building on his hair. You can see that this model is really solid and I'm ready to move on. And some growing shampoo for his bald head. Nah man, I mean, baking bond does the job when you need a surface connection. But before we do his hair, we need to make his eyebrows. The mohawk of an eyebrow. Or eyebrows. Or banana slug. You decide. Enough of this nonsense. Let's help this guy making this hair by blowing into it so we can make that shape that he's walking with. I'm back. Since we are finished now with his face and his hair, we are going to start working on his body. So let's hit the table and then continue our journey with creating more amazing stuff against the music teacher Pingu. So guys, his head is finished and it looks something like this. But what about his hair? Did it blow off? No, of course not. It's still there. But now let's dive into it and create his body. And for the body, I'm gonna use a 2mm thick aluminum wire that I bought in the local hardware shop. I bought 2 sets. One champagne, as you see here, and the other one is silver colored. And since we are working with 2mm thick wire, I had to modify the block of wood that you're seeing here. Because normally it's filled with smaller holes, but at this time I had to drill thicker holes at 2mm so it fits for the wire and so I can place it anywhere I want. And to start with, I decided to go with this tool, really pointy, and I'm using that to draw with. After that, I'm using different type of tools, playing around to define the shape that I want. So guys, now we have a body, we have a face, so sit back, relax, and let's start create and continue the journey. 2 balls, 2 hands, one left side and one right side. Here's a little tip. If you have problems holding the little clump of clay when you're making hands, just take a wire, spin it up, and you got a handle for holding the hand. Don't forget the oil. And here's the hand, right out of the oven. Of course not right direct out of the oven, because then I would probably burn my fingers. But it's been cooled down and it has the hardness that I was looking for. It's not fully cured, but it's enough to work with. And here's the other hand, same procedure. I'm gonna use some clay to fill up the space between this elbow and the wrist. So guys, here it is, out of the oven, been cooled down. We have a body, we have hands, and then we have his head. So once again, down from the oven, and here it is, the finished result of Donald Trump. But the journey is not ended there. So let's continue and start creating Pingu. So guys, I have brought you down to my workshop because we need a base for the Pingu and the president. We are going to create a chair for Pingu. So let's focus on the table and let's start creating something amazing, guys. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we are about to mix a batch to prime the characters. I'm going to use a gray Vallejo primer. So let's get into it, or see you outside. So the priming is finished and cured. I went a step further. I base coat the skin tone of Donald Trump, and here I'm going for a dark blue color to paint his suit. In the meantime, I'm letting the blue color dry, and then let's move on and paint Pingu's feet. The first color I will start with is Sunny Skin Tone. The next paint I'm gonna use, it's gonna be the German orange. And some flat yellow mixed with some light orange. And for his beak, dark red mixed with the light orange. For his eyes and stomach, I'm going to go with white, simple, plain white. After that, I'm gonna mix in some irony whites to give it some contrast. And for Pingu's yellow line on his chest, I decided to go for a lemon yellow. In this case, I'm using a really thin brush because the line is really fine. And of course, some eyes, or else he cannot teach. And now let's move over to Donald Trump. In the meantime, I have been painting his hair for the base coat with a deep yellow. And now brown wash. And after the wash, I'm going to go with dry painting. I'm gonna start with a flat yellow mixed with a little white. After that, I'm gonna use a lemon yellow and an off-white. Mixing these two together and get a really light yellow color. And for his eyes, I decided to go for a plain white. Mix it with the irony white. And for his shirt, I decided to go for a pastel blue because it goes so well with his jacket. And Martin, don't forget his belt. Of course not. I will go with black and belt bucket silver, of course. And of course, we also need to paint his shoes. And for that color, I choose to go with flat brown. And for the wash, I decided to go for a rust color. And dabbing off the excess with a paper towel. And for dry painting, to make the details pop, I decided to go with the flat brown, mixing with the irony white. And for painting the edges and the bottom of his shoes, I decided to go for the normal black. And now guys, it's time to paint the base. For that, I decided to go with the chocolate brown color. And for mixing the wash, we're still going for the rust color. And for the chair, I choose mahogany brown. And for the wash, the same rust. And for the dry painting, no exception. I choose to go with flat brown, mixing with ivory white. And before the big reveal, I just want to make a shout out to all of you guys out there. Thank you so much for watching my videos. Thank you for watching, for all of the creative things that I love to do for all of you guys. If you want to help me in the future and make my channel grow, please leave a like, share and subscribe guys. It will help me a lot. It will warm my heart. And now for the big reveal.